the Wallace house. It was built by John C. Wallace in 1882. John C. Wallace was a local pharmacist and prominent citizen here in Newcastle. The house was in the same family for 100 plus years. It went from the father to the son, and then it remained in the family until the son's wife died, which was in 1986, and then the house was sold. By the time we purchased the house, it was badly in need of everything, badly. It had not been updated in a long time. And so we did everything from the ground up to refurbish the house. And in doing so, we discovered some interesting things, and we saw some interesting things. And one of the first experiences that we had in the house was when we first, probably we hadn't been here more than a couple of weeks. I was upstairs in the back bedroom, and I was tearing out carpeting, and I felt like somebody was watching me. And I turned my head towards the door, and there was like a little girl standing in the doorway dressed in like old-fashioned style clothing, and she was probably about, I would guess about 6 or 7 years old. And she just kind of faded away when I saw her. And we've had some other experiences, and Dustin's had some experiences, so I'll let him talk about some things as well.
So the first thing I saw, I was headed up the stairs over on the portico side of the house. And as I approached the second floor, I saw a gentleman standing there with his back towards me, and he wasn't looking at me, he was looking somewhere else. And he is a tall man, older, wearing a suit but no jacket, just a vest and white shirt and dress pants. And when I got up and started to turn the corner, I looked to see where he went, and by then he was gone. I didn't see it anymore. Later on, actually a few years later, I saw the same person in the hallway sitting on the settee, dressed the same way, with his legs crossed, waiting for who knows what, but still he didn't see me at that point either. And I saw him sit there for maybe about 2-3 minutes before he faded out, where I just didn't see him anymore. So 3 years ago or so, the family members that used to live here, the older Wallace family, they came to visit the house and see the renovations we made. And they had brought pictures of their relatives and John C. Wallace. And so the picture of John C. Wallace pretty well fit the description I gave of the gentleman I saw upstairs and in the hallway.
Want to see something else?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. We hear from time to time, now we haven't heard it in a long time, it's probably been at least a year, but for a while there it was very active. We'd hear somebody, it sounded like somebody was going up the stairs. And the first time I heard it, I was upstairs and he was downstairs, and I heard footsteps on the stairs, and I thought it was him coming up. And I waited and waited and waited, and he never showed up. And then like about 10 minutes later, I heard the footsteps again, and this time he did show up, and I said, "Did you have to go back down?" And he says, "No, what do you mean?" And I had said, "Well, I heard footsteps on the stairs." And then we have heard that on several occasions, but we have not heard it again, like I said, probably for the last year. We also had a ghost cat that we see around the house every now and again, and it's a gray cat, and we usually see it more often than not in the dining room. And when you walk into the dining room, you'll see her scamper across the floor and run like around the corner. It looks like she's going out into the hall and up the stairs. But it doesn't matter if the door's open or closed. She goes through it.
And Dustin, you had a weird experience with her when you were in the attic.
Yeah, when I was in the attic doing some work, I saw a cat roaming around on there, walking on the beams. And I was worried because we have cats in our room. And so I didn't get a good look at the cat at that point, but I went down. It was so, realistic what I saw. Went down, and our cats were where they belong. They didn't somehow follow me up the ladder. I went back up, the cat was still there wandering around. It was the gray kitty. And I'm guessing the same gray kitty we see down here. And she was up there for a long time before I just didn't notice her anymore. Didn't make any noise or anything, just walk around. But she's real good to stay on the beams and not go in between. So I thought that was interesting. And then I saw a little girl just, a few months ago.
Yeah.
It may be the same girl, we don't know. But I was up on the 3rd floor in that stairwell there and putting a light on the wall, a new fixture. And saw a little girl peek around where the stanchion, wherever it is, at the base of the steps, real quick and watched me while I was doing that. And as soon as I looked at her, she disappeared, went away. So it seemed to be similar to what she saw.
It's like she's curious, but scared to reach out.
Just didn't want to.
Or just cautious or whatever, yeah.
Yeah, and she's the only one, because the John Wallace doesn't seem to be cognizant of the fact that we're here.
Yeah.
But she seems to be able to see us.
Yeah.
So he's just kind of basically going out his daily life where...
That's what it seems like.
That's what it seems like, that he's just here because... And we did do some research, and we did find out that John Wallace did die in the house.
Okay.
So he did die at home. And so he just still seems to be here, is the impression I get. But he's not aware of anything that's going on. Whereas the little girl, now I was unable to find any research about any children that died in the house. There was a lot of children, but I couldn't find out about anyone that died.
A lot of times it could even just be she was visiting here and there's a happy memory for her.
Yes, it could be that. It could be. Also, we do know that the house next door here belonged to the brother of John Wallace's brother, right?
Yes.
Yeah, John Wallace's brother lived in this house, brick house next door, and that all the children they had one nanny, and it was in this house on the 3rd floor, and that's where the children were all the time. So it could have been one of their children as well.
Yeah, so all the children of the Wallace family were raised in this house.
Yeah. And then when it was the Women's Society headquarters, they said in the room that you saw the little girl, they saw a woman standing in the window when they drove by.
Repeatedly. Yeah. Yes, that was told to us repeatedly. Now, they had a lot of stories. Yes, it became the women's shelter after, it was sold by the family. And they have a lot of stories to tell, and I've heard it from quite a few of them. Noises, walking, door slamming,
lights turning on.
Lights on after they've left and turned them off. And yes, there was the woman in the window that many of them saw, and they thought it was one of the employees, and they were even asked, what are you doing there so late? And it's like, I wasn't there.
Yeah, and one of them reported that neighbors would be walking by, and they'd say, you left the light on upstairs, that they were locking. And it said, no, I didn't. And then she'd go, look, and there was a light on. Some people have claimed to see somebody standing in front of the window at nighttime when the light was on.
Yeah. But
they can't describe, more like a silhouette.
Yeah, a silhouette type image. They think it's a woman. So you want us to just kind of point out the places where we've had experiences?
Yeah, and just in general, if you want to do a full walk around or
Okay,
whatever.
so we could go out this way and walk into the parlor.
Yep. Let's see here. I can go into.
Okay, turning on parlour light.
So this is the parlor.
Yeah, I remember asking about the piano there. If you ever heard any disembodied music? Last time I was here.
No, we never have. The piano's not original to the house. I don't know if they had pianos or music originally. So.
Yeah. I just always wanted to hear that. I thought that'd be the coolest thing.
Yeah. That's an experience I had in another house, but that's another story.
We'll head to the next one.
Don't go in the basement because that's for the demon hunters, okay?
Actually, it's been raining and the basement's a little
Flooded.
flooded right now, so otherwise we'd let you go down there, but it's really wet because
Yeah.
of all this rain. Every time it rains, it gets wet. So this is where we see the kitty when we do see her most of the time, and she'll be like in this area, or even if she's over there, she scampers across, and she appears to go straight through the door.
If the door's open, we'll see her turn the corner.
Yeah.
The one time we saw her from the back, she went upstairs. Remember that?
Yeah.
We both saw that one, and we were on the porch.
Yeah, we had just come inside from the portico one time, and she was like right here on the bottom step, and she ran up, and as she went up, she just kind of faded away.
As she went up the stairs.
Yeah, as she went up the stairs, she faded away.
Okay, as I'm coming up the stairs here, I'm down here when I see somebody standing right there.
Oh yeah, I forgot
They're
about
on that
that.
side of the rail, and they're looking towards
Standing here.
the back. And so I'm seeing it until I come up right around here. And so, and he looked like regular person, pretty solid and stuff, not like transparent or anything. And so I thought maybe he moved over this way. There's nobody there.
And then this was a stairwell here
Yeah.
where you saw the little girl down at the bottom.
Yes.
Yeah, the little girl was right down there at the corner while I was up here working on a light fixture.
Okay.
And there's a ghost right on top there too.
It's funny, just I think
She's
it's
been to Halloween.
I think it was yesterday or the day before I was driving. There was a big, long white bag stuck in a tree, and it looked like something you'd see from Scooby Doo.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, fake ghosts.
Yeah.
Lisa got nuts. Heard of it last week from we were talking to my friend. So this is our room.
Yeah, our room's over here. But
That room's your headquarters, but you can come and go in these other rooms.
Yeah, you're more than welcome to.
Also, there's
So this is the room that I was pulling up carpet in when I saw the little girl, and I was basically right here on my hands and knees pulling up carpet when I looked over, and she was right there, like against this edge of the door, and kind of peering around at me.
Yeah, then I believe that's the window that
That's
they
the
claim.
window there. where
That
the chair
is the
yeah.
window right there where they claimed that many people have claimed that they saw somebody standing there looking out.
So when you're outside, this is the corner where the deck turns.
Yeah.
Okay, that's the back of the house, and that's the
The
side. Of the
side,
house.
yeah.
And so that'll be the first window you see it right around the turn there.
Yeah. Yeah, we thought about possibly going outside at night and seeing if we saw anything peering through, but that hasn't happened since you guys started renovating it.
We have not had anyone tell us that they saw
No.
anybody upstairs
No.
on the second floor. However, you know, the lights are usually out up here and at night,
Yeah.
unless we have guests.
Have any of your guests had any experiences?
None of our guests have reported having any experiences yet. We haven't had that many guests yet either,
Okay.
so.
Of course, then too, there may be people that don't really believe
That's
in it,
right.
so then they
Yeah.
just brush it off as, oh, I'm just seeing something. Yeah.
Right, just an old
Yeah.
house, just a creaky noise, just a whatever, yeah.
Yeah.
Some
I
people
think you
will
need to
brush
be
everything off.
open
Right.
to really perceive
And then
anything.
there's other people that will turn everything into something.
Yeah.
Right.
Right.
Oh man. But we haven't had anybody staying at that.
No, we haven't. So that's good. I don't want that.
You getting anything interesting on your phone?
I would do that.
There's no particular story for this room. Just the roof leak one time after we got done restoring it.
Yeah,
Bunch of money later, the roof was fixed.
yes, exactly, and no more leak. There's a little work on the ceiling stuff. You gotta get some more paint up there.
Yeah, I thought it was funny. First time that Emily, Shag, and I were here, you guys still had some of the stuff out and saw haunted across the Scrabble board.
Oh, yeah.
That was just good timing.
Yeah, we were doing a Halloween party at that time. And so that was, we had escape room up here. And that was one of the clues.
And then that's the door we're not allowed to open.
Yes,
Don't open that
don't
door.
open that door. And then this is
Our accommodations.
Your accommodation.
your accommodations, yes.